Here we are, the latest shooting from the lip on or at Baxter 942. It's the Shooting from the Lip podcast recording home. On this Tuesday night, we're recording on Tuesday, February 5th, 2019, coming off the Super Bowl, the snooze bowl, depending on, if you're really... I was expecting a lot of points. Didn't get it. But New England, one of those teams that you either you love to hate or you just love to not like a lot. Why is everybody on Tom Brady's? And we'll talk about that because you're in sports.
Because I'm just tired of his life being so perfect.
He's so perfect, yeah. We are...
I don't know him, but I don't like that either.
Yeah. That's right. Join the hatred.
This segment...
I'm glad somebody's perfect.
I've got Jessica Mathis, who is a recurring guest on the show. Jessica, welcome back.
Thanks.
At least once, right?
Yeah, I think once.
Once in person, maybe another on the phone?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I did. That's right. Yeah, because I remember I was sitting in my car in a parking lot.
Oh, you were doing it from the...
Yeah.
All right, those were the days. Also, Christie Troxell.
Yes.
They're here to shoot the shit with me, but one of the things they want to come and talk about is this... The event is called World Premiere Dating Horror Stories. Horror, Horrol.
I can't say that either.
No. I guess that could depend on the situation. That could be as reenacted by classic movies.
Classic movie monsters.
Movie monsters,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Your brainchild. You're the one that came up with this. So what was this like? You were laying in bed one night,
pretty much.
Insomnia night, and you thought, "What can I do?"
Our brain never stops.
It doesn't. My brain is always writing really weird things ever since I was a kid. And I'll send you a picture that I have on my phone that's like me as this little redheaded pequeño small person, and then neighborhood kids around me with like purses on their heads, and like we were playing dress up. But I've always been like this instigator type of like, hey, let's be crazy. Yeah, so luckily I know a lot of lunatics in Louisville who are willing to do really fun, like have the same kind of weird sense of humor, or like to do fun things like that, or have fun doing weird things, I guess. So a few years ago, I don't even remember. It was just like in conversation, and like a lot of my ideas, it was just like, oh, but what if because it's dating horror stories, and so or dating horror stories. Everybody has one, but just that connection of horror, my brain was like horror movies,
Right.
And so it was about a year later. I shot some concept photos with some people so that I could put together kind of a pitch sheet to show people, like, I want to do this. I want to do this. So
this has been at least a year in the...
Oh, it's been 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
This has been noodling in your head and brainstorming for 3 years?
Yeah, because I've been busy with the magazine, with the Muse Cruise, and all the other things that I've done. And a video production takes a lot of people to get it done right. And this one was still lower budget than I would have liked. Right. And I don't like to be... I know there are people, like, especially friends, who would probably do it for free. But I don't like to ask people to do stuff for free if I can avoid it. So even if it's only like $40, I want to try to give them something. Yeah. So I reached out to a couple of people, and like Corbell helped us out with some money, and AFM Threads in St. Matthew's Mall, and
Tawana.
Yeah, Tawana. And so we shot a lot of them down at her. She also owns Encore on 4th Street.
That's true, right.
Across from the Palace now. So we shot a lot of them there. We're doing the release there. It's a wonderful, beautiful venue. It's gorgeous. So
again, we're here with Jessica, who is a award-winning comedian, writer, producer.
Yeah.
Good lady, funny lady. You're also involved in, we'll talk about this too.
And when I do comedy, it's usually under Divinity Rose.
Divinity Rose, yeah. That's true. Right.
A lot of my best friends still don't even call me Jessica.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess once I become a best friend, I'll stop calling you Jessica.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin,
that'll be
get on the BFF wagon. Come on.
But you're also in the food and dining thing, the magazine. You got the editor-in-chief, Muse Cruise thing. So,
well, we're not doing the Muse Cruise this year.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well,
it's a very expensive event, and I think Wes is considering doing something.
Okay.
So I just don't know that it'll be on the Belle of Louisville, and I won't be doing it.
Stay tuned. Okay, for the whatever that goes. All right, but let's get to the event. This event is you mentioned it. Or it's going to take place February 13th.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. So I'm going to have to get my shit together. Get this out in time. Wednesday, February 13th, 7 to 9 at Encore on 4th Street. 3 years in the making.
Yeah. It was really fun to finally do it.
That they're real stories.
Oh, yeah.
These actually happened.
So they're true bad dates that people shared with me. And that's kind of the horrifying part.
Yeah.
But then some of them are so intense, like we had to, lighten it up a little or change the script just a little. So, like, there's one controversial one that deals with the KKK. Not that we're, like, promoting it in any way, shape, or form.
Is that where you just took the white hoods off and put the red four-letter?
No.
No.
What we did with it was.
Yeah, said it.
It was a real date. Well, it wasn't even a date. The guy was dating her. He called her his girlfriend. And at one point there was a newscast or something with the KKK on there, and this is probably the most train wreck one that we used, but the girl turned to him while watching the newscast and said, I really do agree with them on some stuff. And he was black. Like, she said that to her black boyfriend. So it was just like, what? Like, it just breaks your brain.
Well, all right. So, let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're doing, I guess, telling stories.
Right. So we definitely have a disclaimer that's like, this isn't the viewpoint of any of the cast or crew. We're simply retelling the stories and how horrific
based on
dating can be.
True.
Right, right. And we can't change that, know. So we're not saying anything one way or the other about it. We're just retelling the story, and we're using monsters to do it so that it's a little silly.
So you can either come and relate.
Right.
And laugh, or come and not feel so bad about having
About
much
your life.
better days.
Yeah. You're like the proverbial. This is where you go, and you'll at the end of the night you'll say, once again, someone's always got it worse.
There's worse things happening.
Well, that is comedy a lot of the time. People watch comedy a lot of times to feel better about their own lives,
Right. Exactly.
So in this case, it's one of those things that everybody's either been on a bad date, or they've heard about their friends going on bad dates, or they can at least just be like, thank God I'm not in the dating pool, because I don't know if you know this, but Louisville is on the one of the top worst cities for dating.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I know that. I live that life.
Music.
Have that conversation. So.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I per se dated. I hang out.
It's so awful.
But-
That's one of the things that makes dating in Louisville awful. Guys are like, let's hang out.
Well, to actually go and pick up somebody and be totally attached to someone
Oh, Lord.
all night.
All night.
Does that scare you?
Or
one night.
Wait. Get out your pen and notebook, Christy. Kevin, tell us more. We're going to dig into your psyche a little
maybe
bit.
we'll see. Maybe, eventually my story
We're turning
turn into
this on you.
yeah.
So
I mean, I'll dress up as some monster and tell my story.
I do want to say that a lot of the people retelling the stories are not the people that submitted the stories. They're actors.
Right.
So we have actors
that's
retelling
a
it,
good
and then we have other actors as the monsters reenacting that actor's narration.
Well, tell us how did these stories come about? You solicited them, or people you knew?
Shared them with me.
Okay.
I'll for fun ask people about it.
Okay.
I posted on Facebook about it, and a bunch of people commented with their stories and gave me permission to use them when I reached out to them.
How do you replicate roofies?
Actually, we didn't have any
pills.
roof. Yeah, we didn't have. Yeah. We won't talk about the opioids on set. No, I'm just kidding. No, we didn't actually have any roofie stories to begin with.
No.
I mean, we chose set. We managed to
and that's
squeak
not a
out
bad
7.
date. That's an illegal date.
Yeah, that's an illegal date.
It's true.
Yeah.
So that's not a horror date. That
Right,
was just an illegal date.
Like so I can't say that word either. I have to purposely say horror.
Yeah, it's
because
two
otherwise,
syllables.
yeah, I was at
Or actually,
I was
make
at a
it 3.
horror convention once, like manning a booth for a publishing company, and I'd be like, to the whore. like, let's
Bad
go.
whore dating stories would be a whole other
A whole
thing.
other, like,
You asked me to be in that.
We should do a parody of our parodies.
Right there.
The bad horror stories.
So you solicit, you get a hold of these stories.
Yeah.
How many did you come up with initially?
I think I had about 20 that I solicited, and we did 7 of them.
You got 7. You're down to 7.
Well, yeah, because we're
Okay.
limited on time and money.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I had really hoped to be able to schedule everybody on the same days, and it would go more on the same days.
Never works out that
Never.
way.
Everybody's got their schedules and busy or whatever. So we did do all the narration on one day, but the reenactments, I think we spread out over 6 or 7 different days that we got together and shot, which most of those were 4 to 6 hour days, but there was one that was all day and evening. The makeup too took longer than the artist thought it would, and
Created, written for screen. So you take the stories and you give them a little.
I have to write what the narrators would say.
Yeah.
And like I said, with the KKK one, we changed it from I really do agree with some of them to we really do have some things in common. And it's because for that one we chose Blackula as the male and a sheet ghost as the female. So then it's more just their outfits are similar, and it's not as controversial as the date saying oh, I agree with their philosophies or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're
You have seen that movie, right? Blackula. Right?
No, I haven't. I've only seen parts of it, so that's why I
yeah.
pulled from it. Yeah. So and now I feel going to pull characters to try to match them well to the stories. I'm I need to watch some of the some of the movies I hadn't seen.
So you've got it down to 7 stories.
Yeah.
You got everything all written out. What was the process to bring in?
Well, I had talked to Christie. I mean, maybe a year ago.
I mean,
a long
yeah,
time
we
ago. I was
talked about it.
look, one day I want to do this.
So
And
she
when I
was
do
aware.
this,
She's been aware for a
I
while.
want you to
Yes.
be in it, and because Christy and I have a lot of fun being ridiculous together, anyways, even when there's not on a camera.
I've gathered that from the first 10 minutes
From
of
the
this.
minute I walked in.
Let's just say there's a
Just
video
the
of
look on
us.
her face is
We actually it might have even been at the golf thing that I
Oh,
started talking
Lord,
to you about
that
it.
was
So
fun.
we were hired to heckle golfers once.
Who
for a
doesn't wanna do
charity,
that?
golf scramble. And when they called me about it, I was like, yes. They didn't even have to tell me anything. I was like, I want to do it. So we sat on the green and we had silly costumes and we had a megaphone and
Were
Christy
the
got really
golfers
good at
aware, though?
they knew that one of the holes would have somebody
Oh, okay.
heckling them,
All right.
and they could
it was a
pay us. It was
fundraiser.
for charity, and they
Oh,
could
I see.
pay us
Okay,
to leave
gotcha.
them alone,
Gotcha.
and the money
Oh,
would
I
go to
see.
the charity.
Okay, all right.
So, but it was a lot of fun, and Christy got really good at we had a bucket of golf balls, and they'd go to tee off, and she got really good as right in their backswing throwing a golf ball and knocking theirs off the tee.
You able to pull that off?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
she got really good.
I had
at,
a moose hat. I'd come out of the trees.
It was on a water trap.
Oh,
And,
those rock
so
lobsters.
she came down the hill and she got this ridiculous lobster hat that was I'd go, no, wait, because they couldn't see her. She crouched down at the base of the hill at the water. And I'd be like, no, wait, stop. And she'd come running up all and I'd be like, it's rock lobster. It's just,
Yeah.
and they're trying to,
We're a
so-
pair.
Some people were really good sports about it, and
We only had
one was
one
not
guy
salmon
that was.
pants.
Yes, it was salmon
He had
pants.
pink pants. We call them salmon pants.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Anyways.
But this was a scramble, so not per se some real tournament
No, it was
like
a
in
charity
Valhalla or
scramble.
something.
And it was great. And I was like,
you didn't get the evil eye from Tiger. did you?
all these guys would come up in their golf carts and be like, have some of our booze. And I'm like, this is why people golf.
All right, so 7 stories.
See, back to
Back to the event. So does that mean each story has its own unique actor?
Yes,
All right,
yeah.
so no one's pulling double duty
No,
or
but
anything?
some people did. Christy pulled double duty.
Okay.
I'll let her tell you so she can.
yeah.
She gets around then, man. It's like, ugh.
That's right.
I mean, it's your call.
It's hard to
Your
date.
prerogative.
It's hard to date in this
It's hard
town.
to hang out in this
You
town.
you gotta have multiple hangouts. Yeah,
You never wear your real face on the first date.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. Yeah, I got to play the Bride of Frankenstein. What I learned from that is I will never have the Bride of Frankenstein hairstyle. It's horrible.
That is one of the worst. That's like that in March. I always
And ours
Mark
is a
Simpson
knockoff
kind of-
because the only thing
Yes.
copyrighted in old school films like that is like the makeup and
Right.
costume. So like you can't do it exactly the same because Universal owns that. So like this
you
one
bring
was
up a
like
good point.
a flat top. So Bride of Frankenstein goes straight to a point,
Right.
but hers was like a flat top. She looked like Street Fighter Bride of Frankenstein.
So, did you have to deviate from anything to stay away from any copyright infringement?
Just the makeup and hair, doing it slightly different.
Okay.
Like just I had to
But
look
if
at.
you would have went, made it look exactly
well,
the
you
same,
can get
would you would have
sued.
been
Yeah.
potentially?
I mean, maybe we could have gotten away with parody because
Yeah.
there are some parody laws
That's right,
that
yeah.
you can do, but I didn't want to risk it.
Better to stay
Because
away
I had
from
a parody I made once, but it used a Christina Aguilera song, and YouTube was like, nope, you can't
Yeah, you
charge
can't,
your own
right.
ads on this because it's,
Right.
even though it was parody. So I guess because the words were the same, probably.
Yeah.
We didn't change the words. The parody was in the acting, but so she also did another role.
Yeah, well, and I narrated that same one that I played, Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So I'm the narrator and the actor in it, and then I did a little role in Blackula, so that's exciting.
Once you go Blackula, you don't go Bacula.
Blackula put you on your backula. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, did a little
Yeah, and they're
Blackula
all,
snack.
Yeah.
I guess I was. That's
Yeah.
my role. I guess
Really?
I was. Yeah.
Yeah, Blackula Snackula.
Blackula snackula.
Sounds like an old school Count Chocula cereal.
Count
or
Chocula,
something.
there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she and they're all. When I wrote them, I was like, they need to be campy
Yeah.
and like bad. So there's a lot of puns. They're like play on words and
Ridiculousness.
So she was a bloody Karen, I think, or bloody Jessica. The line is like, we go to our favorite bar and I'd sip Bloody Marys, Jessica's, Bloody Karen's, whatever the flavor of the night was. And so he's like turning and got wrists from the girls around him, and she's that. And then there's a part where he has to be comforted after that whole thing goes down, and breaks up with his girlfriend and goes back to her, but he's drained her, so she's dead, and she's laying there, and he's like crying on her shoulder, and he grabs her arm and like comforts himself
Like
with her
patting
arm.
himself on the back.
Yeah. It's really silly, cheesy stuff.
All in the spirit of comedy.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Nothing.
Nothing funnier than a
Yeah.
dead girl on the counter.
Yeah. If you see a dead girl, this is what you're to do.
If you've got a lot of pent up need for emotional connection, just look for a dead girl.
They won't talk your ear off. They won't ask what's wrong.
It's true. Yeah. Nag. You mentioned the KKK thing. Any other? Give us a sample of some of the other.
Other bad dates. There's one where a chick stole his car while he's in the store. There's one where, and that's the like tamest like PG one probably. Like
Who does? She really she
stole it and wrecked it into a telephone pole.
on their first date or
Yeah. Yeah, and then and that one I think they had
See, that's when
met
you
in a
realize
bar.
who can
and
you?
he, yeah,
Oh, they met. At,
yeah,
like
they
it
were-
wasn't.
He was
that
giving her
wasn't-
a ride home. The original story was that he was giving her a ride home.
All right, so
And
that
we
one
did
per
cha-
se.
we
wa-
changed that one to be like a date.
Okay.
But in this case, it was he was giving
He
a girl
met
he
her,
connected with
right.
at a bar a ride home, and she stole his car and wrecked it. But he was submitting it as a date. So I don't
Okay.
I don't know that.
No, I mean,
I got those stories a couple of years ago, so maybe he maybe it was a date and I don't remember. But there's another one that was
which is why if she needs a ride home,
Yeah.
director, put her on the Uber app.
Lyft. I'll
Lyft
call you
app,
Lyft. Yeah.
Call a lift.
There was another one. Let me think. Oh, there was another one that. So this is so. I hope people will still come watch them because the fun of it is the way we retold the
We're
story.
not giving away, and we're,
No, this one I
you're
kinda
giving
have
them
to.
just give them the tip.
No.
You know,
That's so funny because I'm about to tell the Nosferatu one.
Just the tip.
It's so funny you said that because on this one, the real story was that she was out on a date with a guy and like he kept bringing up a certain celebrity, and she went back to his place. And there was like, and it was Justin Timberlake. And he got back to his place, had like Justin Timberlake posters everywhere. And she's like, what's, and he's like, oh, I was on a daytime TV show for being a Justin Timberlake lookalike. And he looks nothing like him. And then and this is how she told it. Then he goes over to the refrigerator and starts drinking lemonade from the carton and turns to her and says, Every time I drink lemonade, I get a boner. So she just like ran out into her car laughing. So we used Nosferatu, comparing himself to Dracula. So it's just funny because, you know, the classic iconic like Nosferatu shadow. Yeah. We did that, but with him with the carton, and then it goes down and there's just a little at the end. So
is that the sound effect?
The fact that you get
is
like
that the sound effect?
No. Well, actually, everything's at the audio guy right now. He might do that.
Okay. So.
Our 15-year-old boy minds were triggered.
I prefer
throughout
a little
this.
counterbell, like ding.
Yeah, this is when you could use that Beavis and Butthead.
So that's why it was funny when you said just the tip. I was like, what? Yeah. So I mean, there's just.
I'm hold on. I'm still thinking about a dude.
Just the tip.
Well,
yeah.
not,
thinking about
not just. Well, actually close. Not just the tip. Justin Timberlake, where he actually has a poster. Now I'm curious: is it Justin Timberlake poster, or is it like NSYNC Days poster?
Probably. I mean, this was submitted a couple years ago, and she said it was when she was like 20 years old, and so.
I mean, seriously, if you're a female and you walk into a dude's home, and you see a Justin Timberlake poster,
If they did not have a teenage child, I would turn around right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you start no kids, no daughters, especially daughters.
Well, the way she told it, it unfolded very quickly. Like she didn't even have time to get over that, and
the boner popped up right away. Okay,
like,
no time to react.
And they were 20.
He chugged the lemonade.
They were 20, you know. So like, they were 20. So you got to think like. Was it just an awkward, like, how do I broach this subject and then just trying to jump right to it? Or, like, I don't know.
I guess probably at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kool-Aid or lemonade, good strong breeze.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So
just waking up in the morning.
You're just waking up, saluting everybody. What else? Give me another story. Tease me a little bit.
So there's one about a guy that.
Well, you're giving it so much from the guy's point, or is there any from a female's perspective?
Well, that's what I was.
Okay, go ahead.
So Christy could tell you about hers if she wants.
Sure, yeah. So, you know, the day and age where regular meeting organically doesn't happen so often. So what do? You try the dreaded online dating.
I got a Bumble notification before we booked off.
Do you want to respond and tell her you can hang out later?
No. I'll respond later.
Do you want to ask her if she wants to come hang out with us?
Right.
That we're talking about fun stuff. We want to meet. We could be your screener. We could like come up with like a poker or like baseball signal and like tell you if she's like loco. You know?
Right. Crazy eyes. Yeah. So she decides to try this online dating. This is like her last stop, right? So she puts in her profile everything, right? Like everything that she's into, not into, because people really pay attention to that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Who reads the profile?
Right. Yeah. So the focus of this one that she really, really does not like body hair, facially clean shaven, pretty boy. So she's got this picture. She starts talking to this guy. Perfect. Looks like a little child. Literally.
The actual actor.
We used the
sent
younger
it to me,
photo.
and I guess it was younger him. So she's catfished on top of it.
Yeah. So she decides to actually go on this date with this guy finally. And she's looking around, doesn't see anybody. This guy's like waving at her. He comes and sits down at the table. She's like, who is this freak? Like, no.
Because he's really
He's got
shaggy. He's starting to like.
Is this not the same person that's in the pictures?
It is.
It is the
It
same
is,
person.
But
but
before
now-
he sits down, there's a shot of a full moon.
So he ends up being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
So he sits down.
So throughout that, the fixation, I guess, on this body hair starts becoming obsessive, and I'm thinking it's getting bigger and longer, and it's coming after me, and
The hair.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So that I have to say that one, Christie's sketch has my favorite prop.
the beard.
Patrick, our SFX guy, did the makeup. He made us a beard puppet, a couple beard puppets. So it's just was like a hanger with like a fur fist. With
Nobody had
fur.
fun in the filming of this, as you can tell.
Yeah. And no animals or kids were harmed.
It's
right?
not animal fur. It's like fake human hair.
No,
fur, yeah.
and no horrors were hurt either.
Yeah, no horrors were
No
hurt in the
horrors.
filming of this
Yeah.
series. So that beard puppet, is when she becomes fixated and is imagining that it's like coming at her. She's like freaking out, and you just see this like tip of a beard like thrusting towards her face, like as he's talking, and taps her on the
Yes.
shoulder. And so she, that was a lot of fun it's just fun to say beard puppet.
Right.
Like it's just fun to tell people you have a beard puppet.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to see this.
It's
Not just this. I think I got to see all 7
Oh yeah. It's
stories.
funny. It's funny.
They were very silly, but they were a lot of fun to make.
That's what we were just saying right before we started this, that there are a lot of weird people in Louisville, and we're happy
Thankfully,
to be
yeah.
friends with a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. So Christy pulled double duty, but Spencer Quartz?
Yep.
Quartz?
Yeah.
He also played 3 roles and narrated one.
Yeah.
He was gonna do.
He's younger though. He has more energy.
You say played,
portrayed.
plays.
He
Plays.
portrayed.
Well, this is not. Wait a minute. I mean, this is. Oh, this is on video.
This is on video.
Yeah.
This video, sorry.
All right, that was okay. Which now totally. Yeah,
We
I
just
guess
did it for fun and didn't record it.
No, I initially I thought, was this going to be video or is it actually going to
Like
be
on
live?
stage.
No,
Yeah, like
no,
on
no,
stage,
no.
yeah.
These are all videos. They'll be
Yeah, okay.
online after the event.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I haven't decided
Now
yet
we're
to
on the same
release
page.
them like one at a time, probably over
Okay.
a span of.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to create something too. Like my long-term interest is writing for television, and I've been writing some television pilots and things.
Why are you not doing a podcast?
I've thought about it actually, and it was
You too.
when I was actually asked to before by a place that like puts on several podcasts. I was just like, I don't have time for anything else in my life right now, and I have considered recently doing it again. And it's just one of those things that is like, it takes brain power to do that. And I've been dealing with a lot of like chronic pain lately. So it's a great idea, but then I'm like, and I'm taking pain medication. And I gotta have surgery
See,
soon.
this is where what confused me. I should have picked up when you said you recorded all those episodes. But when I saw the outtakes at the live event and the live models, I started thinking,
Oh, right.
yes.
Yeah. Well, and there's supposed to be an artist doing a body painting, like themed body painting. And he's been sick, so I'm not sure if that's going to go down.
Okay.
So if he's better, I don't want anybody to like come to the event and get the flu. So,
Please no.
yeah. Anyways, I thought creating this would be something that I don't have the money to film like a whole TV long series, like a episode that's 30 minutes, but I could create something short with people that shows everybody what we can do,
Right.
and for what our budget was and creating 7 of these things, they're great. They look great for what
Good.
they are.
Very good.
There's a couple moments where I'm like, oh, that wig slipped or that thing, but it's all in good taste with like the bad movies anyways, so it's a lot of fun.
well,
But
in some ways, it probably adds to the
it
humor.
does. It
right?
does a little bit. I mean, it's actually. Hold on, I'll be right back. I wanted you to.
She's leaving.
Because I left my bag over
Don't
there.
leave
Hold
me
on.
alone with the microphone. Who knows where this conversation will go?
So let me, while you're here,
Sure.
7 stories. This is how long is this?
They each are
movie?
about 1.5 to 2 minutes tops, right?
No,
if even that.
A little longer
like-
than
Yeah, a minute and a half or 2 minutes to 4 minutes.
Okay.
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 So, but 3 I think really is about.
3 is the average. Yeah.
2
So
to 3
the
minutes.
full, I guess do you have it as 7 different videos or
Yeah,
one
7
full?
different videos.
Okay, gotcha.
And my friend Jerry Voigt with Cartoonery Studios made a great little animated intro for it. And like a black and white castle, like 2 bats fly in, and there's a scream, and 1 bat flies out, and then it says dating horror stories, it's reenacted. So anyway, so Spencer, I brought you a sexy Dracula poster.
Nice.
So this is Spencer.
Could have been.
Yeah. And those were the posters used in the video for Nosferatu to compare himself to Sexy Dracula. And that one's not as like, that one's okay, but there's also one of him all like spread out on the ground. And yeah, and that's for you.
Oh, okay.
Everybody needs one.
Dude,
Christy was saying.
put that up in your
That goes up in your
bedroom. That'll make your hangouts go a lot better.
When you bring your Bumble girl home later and she sees that, she'll be like, what? And then you have to drink the lemonade.
I'm going to drink something.
So if nothing else, I know some of you out there
It's
are
all
going to
be
learn how
video.
to date.
I'm going to video it. Just
Facebook
that part.
Live.
Stream live.
Just stream it to us. Me and Christy.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got enough. I'm just going home to a cat.
I just wanted you to see what Christy had to go
Oh, this
through.
is my hair.
Yeah.
This was the Frankenstein.
Here, put that on, Kevin. It's,
Really?
Yeah, that was my hair.
That was Christy's hair. It's fallen down now, though, so it like flops out everywhere.
Is this the back?
I think so.
I don't think it matters when people.
Yeah, really.
It's very flattering.
It is, and I'm just gonna real quick
Yeah,
get that like.
It's that's the beauty. That's the beauty that was brought to me.
So we had to keep, and it was falling down. Like the wig
it
is
on.
supposed to stay up straight, and it kept falling down on her. And like we had to have like makeup, and like had to come in with like pins to
No
like
gel?
pin it, try to
No,
pin
anything
it
like
on.
that?
I mean, I'll have my. Yeah, isn't that pretty? It really does a lot of amazing things for
I think
me.
I like it better like flopped out.
Yeah, because it was like that. But then I'd flail around
Yeah,
when I'm getting
so-
attacked, and you just see like a chunk fall in my face.
It's a great, and it's like flopping, and she like
want
is
her
freaking
right
out.
now.
It's hot, isn't it?
I need
well,
that.
I really want her in this.
Maybe-
What's
This
this?
is the Medusa.
That's it.
one.
Maybe I'll get a. Maybe I need to come home with that. Maybe I'll get a date then, or a hangout.
Medusa and the Invisible Man are on a date, so there's a shot that we did because we're talking about the date going really well, of him, and she's shorter than him. She's all hunched over, you know. And that was because I was like, maybe we could justify the Invisible Man. Medusa would have no effect on him, you know. So there's a shot where he's talking about how well the date's going, and he's like making out with one of her snakes from her head, and so it's just a snake up against like the bandage of the Invisible Man's
Like-
bandage face. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Your creative mind, huh?
Just
Yes.
silly. Well, and everybody contributed to like making these silly and had great ideas. And maybe I should do this. Okay.
Did you
know,
give
but-
the actors any freedom to?
I did. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. You know, and the narrators too. Like,
Yeah.
because my brain sometimes can be very like, oh, let's use this big word, you know, or let's make this sentence very hard to say. So I'm definitely like, please make it comfortable to you. Like, make it, because I wanted it to sound like somebody telling a story.
Yeah.
So I wanted them to be comfortable with it. And the other thing is when I got the idea that we were to do money, I wanted to release it for Valentine's Day. So it was like a 2-week
quick.
turnaround time to like, everybody, can you do this? Can you shoot this week? Like next week, can you shoot this?
memorize this for tomorrow?
So I was like, just memorize the first
Yeah.
line and the last line, and everything in between is a reenactment, so you can read that part.
Right.
Right.
So I had to give them some freedom to like be more comfortable with the sentences because they had like no time to like memorize them. So
That's cool.
Yes.
yeah.
And yeah, just right here. Valentine's Day is next Thursday.
Next Thursday. And this is a great, fun alternative event. Like, if you're not crazy about Valentine's Day, you can go find out why.
You can come see us the day before Valentine's Day, and then
Yeah.
you can celebrate 50% off chocolate on the day
On
after.
the 15th. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Or even more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my best to attend this thing.
And we did have a lot of talented actors. We had Christy, we had Spencer, like I mentioned, who was...
She named me first,
yeah.
just in case
She
you
just wants
didn't
to point
notice that.
that out. Spencer was Nosferatu. Christy was Bride of Frankenstein, and then the extra in the Blackula. Spencer was Invisible Man, Nosferatu, and Dracula, which is kind of funny because in the Nosferatu sketch, he's comparing himself to Sexy Dracula.
Yes.
But that's also him, and you can't tell because the makeup's so different. So he's comparing himself to himself.
Okay. I like that.
But and then and that was an accident. The person who was gonna play Dracula was like a hunk, like model Dracula, and he had a family emergency that day, and we had to call Spencer. Like, you just
You
did this.
better
Can you
hope
come
Spencer
back?
didn't hear that.
He's. I think Spencer is muy guapo. Spencer is good looking.
Looking out
But
for
the
you,
other guy
Spencer.
was like very tall, very beefy,
Right.
like Yeah, no, Spencer's cute. Spencer's fun. And then Francis.
I just got you free compliments, Spencer. Pay up.
He's like 24 though. I'm like, oh god. All right. So then there's France. Now that we're done talking about Spencer crushes, there's Francis played the werewolf, and he was the narrator.
Francis
everybody,
is amazing.
I think almost everybody was also a narrator on one of the videos.
I had a hard time sitting across from Francis because he is so funny.
Yeah, Francis is so funny. Like, so I'm like, okay, you guys talk. You're on a date, and he sat down, and she's sitting there like confused, and he rushes in because he's late, and he just starts talking. He sits down, and her line is like his total shaggy mongrel sits across from me, and he's over there like blah, 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 but he on his own just ad-libs sits down, and he's like, cool. So I like to go out and I like to dig up bones, I like to bury them in the yard, I like to gnaw on them, I like to suck the marrow, I like to put them back in the ground. Do you? Well, what about you? How about you? And he just looks at her like, how about you? Just like he's just,
and I don't want to ruin the visual surprise, but the way he drinks his drink about made me fall out of my chair.
It's so great. And I will ruin it. But
okay,
he's just like,
you're allowed to.
Yeah, like a dog. He's like,
you can't.
She's supposed to be acting like disgusted the whole time, and she's having a hard time not losing it. Yeah.
Right.
And then, so he played, and then, see, we didn't use Frankenstein in this one. Robert was Baron Samedi, which is like a voodoo deity who, and they have the mind wash zombies. So that was a bad date where a girl goes on a date and the guy buddy shows up. Like he invited a guy buddy to go on the date with him. And so we were like, what would make sense for who would have like a satellite guy like with him? So he mind washes a zombie, or somebody from another table turns him into a little brainwashed zombie. And that was by a local comedian, Ed Snyder. Mandy McKelvey is a local comedian. She was the female in that one. And it was kind of like a blended like Mrs. Munster, like Elvira. But Elvira is very copyrighted and trademarked. So we didn't do the big hair or anything. And Mandy has...
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm being very serious here. Yeah. Even the whole cleavage look, everything is right? Isn't that with our?
Well, you can't really copyright that, but like the way she does the makeup on it to like make it pop, like maybe, but we had a black dress, and Mandy has gray hair.
I wonder if those are insured like J-Lo's butt.
Yeah,
you know they are. Right? That's part of her gimmick.
I mean, that's her.
Wow, I never even thought that. I never even knew I could get insurance on my boobs.
Like, come on, girl, just push it. You could get insurance on your cleavage. I mean. True, girl. You've been losing out on money.
I have. Man, I've dealt with enough insurance in the last couple months, though. My house flooded and I was out, and my car was backed into in the same week. I'm like, just insurance and contractors for 2 months now.
But you're past all that now.
Yeah, I just moved back in this past Friday. So just moved back in. It was so crazy over Christmas and everything. And I was out of town. I came home and I just heard water running, and it was just gushing from under my sink onto my floors for who knows how long while I was out of town. So, anyways, but so I wanted to finish getting through the actors so I could mention everybody.
Okay.
Mandy. I was saying Mandy has gray hair anyways, and Mrs. Munster has like black hair with a gray stripe. Right. So Mandy's hair is all long, gray, and beautiful, and so we put black stripes in it. So, and then. Let's see, who am I missing? Oh, Dr. Caligari, the cabinet. Dr. Caligari is like if not the oldest or first like silent horror film.
Really?
And he's this guy with a top hat and glasses. And
yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So, and like white hair sticking out, and we got these glasses.
Very
nerdy, yeah. So
I love that you brought props to a podcast.
Well, it is a video.
Yeah, but I also
for those listening later, just the audio part, you're not getting this visual.
Yeah, I honestly didn't care about the audience. I'm sorry, I'm selfish. I just wanted to see Kevin put the wig on.
And the glasses.
And the glasses.
Yeah.
So. That's great.
He's wearing those on his Bumble date.
Yes. You need a Bumble photo.
And the wig.
That and the wig.
I'm a cool guy. I'm like Einstein.
I see someone who actually I've got coming up on a podcast in the next few weeks. Leanne Cooper.
Yes. So that was the one I was in the middle of.
Okay.
So Dr. Caligari was Craig Williams. He's a very funny local comedian, and he writes the web series Bagged and Board. He's one of the writers for that. It's a very popular local comedy series. on YouTube, and it's very funny. And in that scene, he is with a wolf, a she-wolf, a werewolf is a female, and that's Leanne Cooper. And that was probably the most R-rated, not quite R, but like the most risque.
Closer to horror.
Yeah, closer to horror of the horror. Like, but it's not. It's still not. It's probably like what PG-13, PG even.
It's censored enough.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And that one's great. It's so good, and I don't want to ruin that one at all. But there's one his recreation of Dr. Caligari is so fantastic. Thank you. Somebody's taking our drinks away. So he did this very nerdy, like, and she's at the bar and he's at a table in the corner. I wish I had absinthe. He should have had absinthe, but he's like drinking wine, and she's looking at him and hey, you know, making these little flirty movements, and he's looking back at her with this very like face drawn up, like nerdy, like recreation of the character, and like looking at her like all awkward and like licking his glass and like doing these things. But they go back to the house and they're getting pretty hot and heavy, and she pulls down her top and she's got these furry boobs because she's a wolf. And so his reaction to that is great, because at first he's like, "Ooh," and then he's like, "But I like it, hey." So it's pretty funny. And that the awkward one, or the bad part of that, the weird part of that, is not even the furry boobs. It's what happens after that. Yeah. And so I'll leave that.
Stay tuned.
Come watch the videos. Come to the event.
Come on the 13th to Encore on 4th Street.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is what you call.
Oh, she brought us drinks.
Ladies and gentlemen, tip your bartenders and servers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Heather.
Ginger ale for the ginger. I gotta keep my fill up.
Well, you got, as we're recording this, you got a little over a week and a day.
Yeah.
For anything left.
Yeah, the audio is being mixed and mastered right now. So that's kind of mostly it. And I'm actually I'm still in the middle of the editing the last one. Andrea has to color correct it, and she's so good and so fast, and she got, last night I sent her a couple and woke up this morning and she'd sent them back, so I'm not really concerned about that being a problem. But the medical stuff that I deal with, the chronic pain is in my face. It's great. Somebody gave me the perfect term for it. It's like face fireworks. I have like nerve pain that goes into my face, and it feels like it's being electrocuted.
You're being for real here?
I'm being for real.
Okay.
Yeah. So it feels like it's being electrocuted, or it feels like it's a fresh burn, and so I've been on a lot of pain medication. So what triggers it is sitting up, like in any way.
What is that called? What's the?
Well, they diagnosed me 3 years ago with trigeminal neuralgia, which is a nerve right here that goes into your face. But I had to do a lot of self-pursuit. Like, no, I'm not just going to keep taking medicine with no real answers, because there were things happening that didn't coincide with that necessarily. And what it's come down to is like muscle problems in my neck and shoulders and back because of my chest, and those muscles have been in like fight or flight mode for a long time, so they get real tense and locked up, and then that'll press on nerves and things and go in and cause the pain in my face. So yeah, it's awful. It's pretty awful. So anyways, I just brought that up because it halts my work sometimes. So I've had a lot of impact on my workflow lately. So, but we're getting it done, and I'm really so excited because it's 3 years in the making.
3 years.
So, yeah.
Again, this is the world premiere. Dating Horror Stories is reenacted by classic movie monsters.
Yes. And in the future, I hope to go into other movie things too. Yeah. So classic movie monsters and other movie icons, so that we can pull in sci-fi and other recognizable characters from more modern movies. It's
February 13th at Encore on 4th Street, 7 to 9 p.m. There is a charge, right?
Yeah, it's $10 in advance. You can go to datingmoviemonsters.com, and then $15 at the door. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Some other topics I'll throw at you.
Okay.
Like, we talked, I want to, this is kind of a pop culture type of podcast. Staying with the dating theme.
Yeah.
I mean, you're single, right? I'm single. Are you?
I'm single.
Oh, we're all single.
Hi.
3 singles. What is dating like out there these days?
Non-existent.
I have no idea because I haven't.
Are you? Can you or did you relate to any of these stories?
Well,
Or better yet,
I'll be
do
honest.
you have a
I'll be
story to
honest.
tell?
The beard story was mine. That was my thing. I had on my dating profile, like, I no offense, but I don't like long beards. Like, I just, especially if they're so long, I feel like it'll leap off your face and eat me. Like, I just don't like it.
There's something kind of gross about that too.
It freaks me out a little bit. So,
I mean, I want to take this
and they're so
conversation-
popular right now.
They are very
everybody-
popular.
And I can even look
And
at
I
it and be
can't- I
like,
can't
oh, that's
do
a
it. I
good looking
can't,
beard, or that's a
yeah.
good looking man. But once they get really long, I'm not into it, and that's fine. So I definitely had somebody show
that
up
was
once
yours.
with a total long beard, and like,
But that was. Wait a minute. Was that the one with the profile where you said?
Mm-hmm.
Was this on the dating app? Were you the dating app one?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
And
Well-
in my comedy, I have bad date experience. Like I talk about bad
Yeah,
dates.
I remember you said
So,
that. yeah.
like, I was on a dating site, and at the top, I had, like, not interested in NSA sex, so don't ask. And that means, like, no strings attached.
Right.
I'm not interested. So some guy messaged me, and he's like, what do you, all I can think of, what does NSA mean? All I can think of is National Security Agency. I was like, oh my God, I am definitely not interested in National Security Agency sex, whatever that is. That puts a whole new meaning on tapping that ass. Like, so, yeah, so I use a little bit of that humor when I do stand up as well. So,
I will not bang you in the Pentagon, is what she's.
Christy, do you have any that you want to share? Or?
Come on, give us
There's
one.
some I definitely won't tell, but there's this one. I went out to eat with this guy, and we went for sushi. It's fine. We get the food. I'm eating. He decides he doesn't like his food, so he, while I'm eating, takes my food away from me.
Wait a minute. He ordered something different than you,
Yeah, we had separate plates.
but he didn't like what he
God.
got, so he started picking off your plate,
No,
or
he
actually
took it away. If he wasn't gonna
took
eat,
it away to. Oh,
I wasn't gonna eat.
he didn't even eat it.
No,
He didn't like it.
He took it away and then asked
Like
for the
if you
check
and I were
and
eating.
paid, and then went and took me home. I'm like, well, this seems like a guy with a temper that I should not continue with.
Like if we were eating right now,
Yeah.
and I decided I didn't like my food, and I just
Right.
reached over and took your plate away.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't
'Cause I didn't-
gentle.
So basically, it was like, well, if I'm not going to eat, you're not going to eat.
Yeah,
He
I
was
guess-
basically like, I don't like this food. This
I
date is
guess
over.
we all starved together.
This date is over.
Was
And that was the end of
Well,
it.
here's
So
what
I didn't
I'm-
know bad
Unity.
food meant the date was over.
was there any potential red flags before this date happened that would have triggered?
Not
I mean,
before the date, but pre-dinner drinks for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
on.
I thought that was an interesting play, though.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
I-
that
that-
happened.
What about you, Kevin? It's your turn.
Like I said, I really don't date. I go hang out.
What about?
Okay, well, tell us a bad hangout.
Yeah, I don't know per se if I really have any bad hangouts. I could say I've not been in a relationship for 4.5 years. So, in the whole dating thing, it's like, I don't know. I'm just one that, let's go hang out. Let's meet.
He likes that
Let's
term.
meet.
Is
We
this a
meet-
Netflix hangout or an Amazon Prime hangout? I'm judging you based on
No,
your
it's
answer.
actually it's like my general go-to is like, I have tons of friends who are musicians in town.
Right.
So let's go listen to some live music. Let's go somewhere, have a few drinks, we can listen to music, and just
And not
hang-
have to talk.
Well,
or
no. The music is
Background.
background.
Yeah.
I'm all about a good conversation.
Sure.
You know, podcast. I like to talk.
Obviously, yeah.
It's just filling out process.
Yeah.
Now some of those have
A friend of mine likes to call them auditions.
You know, that's a good way
And
to
some
put it.
people in the movie industry call it audition.
Right?
Yeah. And then, you know,
That
and
involves a couch.
I know.
casting couch.
That's what we were talking about. We were trying to be more subtle, but
We were doing more of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, there's a joke about my sectional, and I will leave it at that.
if you couldn't see us, Christy and I were bumping elbows like hee. Yeah.
So it's and I guess if there's not a good vibe or some type of connection, then you part ways. I mean, there's
Right,
but
yeah.
if there is, then kind of
Yeah.
you just take it the next step. And
That was what was weird for me because when I was younger, it seemed like I'd always just meet people in like some sort of. I never even thought about dating, and maybe guys when we go do stuff would think of it like a date, but I'm very like I have guy friends, I have girlfriends, I have and I actually like both guys and girls, so like I just did stuff with people, and a lot of times in social
you're saying
settings.
when you say like both, it's in your.
Yeah.
Okay, which is cool. Totally
yeah.
cool.
So.
I only have one preference, but you're
Well,
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
We now know
As Seinfeld would say, not that there's anything wrong with
Kevin
that.
likes bees. He's on some app called Bumble.
Right?
He's an insectoid person. He likes insects now.
He likes the honey.
Now you know why Christy's my friend.
The honey, I like that.
He likes it when they really hive.
He likes to pollinate. Okay, I'll stop. Go ahead.
He likes it when they make him buzz.
You give me some good one-liners here.
Oh no, he's gonna be like, hey, honey.
That's either why people hang out with me or why they don't.
Yeah. Did it hurt when you fell from the hive?
Beehive. Oh, beehive. What was that like?
Oh,
That was like. That sounds like Austin Powers, right?
Oh, beehive. But yeah, in my 20s, I would always like end up hanging out with people, and you just end up clicking with somebody, and I end up in a relationship. Now, I don't know. I guess it's like you hit middle age. You're like more like, I know I don't like this. I know I don't like that. This is what I really want, and you just put way too much pressure on it as people get older. And I think for a lot of people, it's because they want kids or they want to find the right person. But I have a kid.
I've got
grown
two.
now.
I've got two grandsons.
Yeah,
all right, so that
that's
gives you an idea on my age. Fortunately, the people. I'm not one that. See, I've got friends my age that want to go find something 20 years younger, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
My
Because
roommate
they're-
she's
because you're still
37.
talking kids.
Yeah.
For them,
yeah.
the notion of no. I do have a, when I get on the sites, there is that age range that I.
Sure.
Yeah, and
And for some reason, it seems less creepy when girls are older and they have really young boyfriends.
it's no, well, you think that's creepy?
No, I'm saying a lot of people, not me necessarily, but a lot of people seem to think that's okay. But then when guys date really young girls get all like huffy about it. Like,
Yeah, but
it's fine.
uh,
Girls would be like, "Don't be sexist," but then like a picture of the shirtless guy in Super Bowl last
That's
night goes
right.
up, and everybody's like,
Yeah,
drooling on their
that's right, yeah.
internet. I think
I think
slime
the
is
problem
coming down my
too
screen.
is women get more insecure. Like as men age, they get distinguished and refined, and then women just get old.
or
Not me, I'm
plastic
like-
surgery and all this. Stuff,
Yeah,
which is
they
like-
have more things. Like there's no dad bod, mom bods for women or anything. It's our expectations.
You mean if
are
I
still
wear
held
like
high.
mom jeans and white socks, it's not sexy?
Right?
No, I think the most unsexy thing, and this isn't a religion thing, it's just this is where I see it a lot, like on I've seen a lot of like Christian videos and things where the ladies are in, maybe from the 80s, but they're wearing, and they still do, I've seen it, like the blue denim jumper dress type thing with white socks and like and full sleeves, long sleeves with it. That's what I always would tease my ex with, is like, oh, you want me to wear that? Like, You want me to put on that blue jean jumper and white socks? Yeah.
Start singing Elton John, Blue Jean Baby.
All right, enough of the dating thing.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the app later.
We want to see your Bumble.
Hey, Bumble lady.
Well, you know, the one thing Bumble, though, is...
The women have to reach out.
Exactly.
They have to start the
Really?
contact.
Yeah, they're the one, and they have 24 hours. Once
So
the
do you
connection-
respond to everybody that messages you?
Well, I try to, because technically, if they message me, it's because I had swiped right too. So they're
So it's kind of like Tinder, but the girl has to
Exactly.
start the
Yeah,
Yeah,
conversation.
it's like you have to match, but the girl
Yeah.
has to send the
Yeah.
first message in order for
I
that
gave
to
up on
open
all that a
dialogue.
long
but they have
time
to
ago.
do it within 24 hours on the
Oh.
free part. I guess you can pay it and then you can get unlimited time, but like on the free part, and I will never pay for a
Right,
I
yeah.
tried online dating once and I lasted 20 minutes.
Really?
No,
on the date or on the app.
She's in, and she's like,
It's you know
Back out.
I can't imagine the type.
That's one of those things where you're like,
dudes that,
Yeah,
lean in
that's the
and
thing, is it's
back
a
out slowly.
totally different experience for
yeah.
women and men.
and you know, with
So I had a guy message me once, I'm looking for my missing rib. And I was
so
like,
was this Adam?
right,
I'd be
yeah.
like,
The whole
I'd be
Adam
like,
It was
well,
like, oh, I get it. You
Exact-
want to know me biblically.
I'd have said it's out for limited time down there at McDonald's.
I want you to bite the apple
Yeah, man.
and talk to the snake too, right?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
take that joke that
Exactly.
raunchy when I do stand up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, you want to know me biblically? Oh, okay. Well, I got. Oh God, no, I'm not. I'll tell you later. So,
Projects. What other? things
no,
got?
you were
Oh,
gonna tell us if you
okay.
respond to everybody when they message you, or if you filter it, like you pick and choose.
Well, no, actually, I almost everyone.
Yeah.
Because you know, in theory, I would have swiped right to begin with.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
But,
You had to like them
but
first.
not always.
I forgot.
You know, it's just sometimes you're just doing it. And
Yeah.
you're not. I'm not exactly one.
Did
that,
you ever see that
you know, I'm
video
not doing
online?
my homework, and I'm just. No, you know.
Did you ever see that video online? Somebody did an art installation of the phone laying on the table on Tinder, and on a little motorized thing so that it spun, they attached a piece of meat. Like, and it would just like flap like this on a spin and like hit the phone and swipe. It was their statement on like a meat market, like on a, like
I
a,
like
yeah.
that.
So and it was, yeah, it was. I gave up on Tinder and all that because even if I matched with somebody and liked them, like they would never respond, or they would talk for a little while and then like back out, you know, stop, or they'd be like, oh, I realized I'm not as ready for dating as I thought. And so and really most of it, the biggest response I got from being on Tinder was people who I've already known for years that I have no
You do
interest
see
in.
actually.
Message me on
some
Facebook
people
like,
that.
ho ho ho, look who I found on Tinder, ho ho, you know, and it's like, yeah, I kind of got on there
I've
because
seen
I'm
that.
not interested in anybody I know.
I guess-
I've seen some married coworkers on there, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Whoa.
You see
Yeah.
those. I guess actually, technically, to answer your question, no, I do not respond to everyone because here's the thing with this app is that I get bored with it after a week or two.
Yeah.
And then I'll delete it and let it kind of give it time to reset. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like people watch.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'll get on and it's like my mind is like, all right, every third person I'm swiping right, no matter what. And then you
It's
come
like a
back
game.
and then it's like.
It's like roulette. It's
He's
like
not
Bumble
supposed
roulette.
to be. Yeah, it's kind of roulette. Right?
Yeah, Bumble roulette.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And, yeah.
I think it's funny sometimes you see like comedy profiles on there, like people create a fake profile that's just like for humor purposes.
I mean,
But
there's
they also
actually
get
a
on there
lot
for
of spam.
advertising now
Yeah,
too.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of, like this one chick was.
It's like, how effective is this for you? Like, I should create a dating horror stories profile for Tinder. You know,
Should. I like that.
is this your next?
we're
person?
very distracted.
We're like,
Yeah.
hi.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, enough dating.
I'm an
Projects.
includer.
Yeah,
You're gonna what?
I'm like, hi, come on,
Oh
guys.
yeah, includers. There's some guys that walked in, and we both all kind of were like,
might
"Hey."
get a date.
might. That's how it happens, right?
Right?
Christy's trying to
it's
corral.
all timing.
You know?
It's timing.
You never know.
So
Bump into somebody.
you might not
in a
swipe
bar.
right, but you both looked right.
That's right.
Bumping into somebody in a bar one time. I was like in a bar for a show, and I saw somebody at the bar. This guy was gorgeous, like Mediterranean looking, like, and I was like, God, that guy's gorgeous. And so as I had to go to the restroom, I had to pass him at the bar, and it was one of those things where like, I'm walking past him, he's looking at me, I look up and smile at him, everything's in slow motion, and then I hit him with my boob on accident.
On accident.
My life is over.
On accident.
And I just have to go to the bathroom, like,
Whatever.
hide for the rest of the night.
On accident?
Wait, what? I can't help it. I mean, when they stick out like that, it's like, I forget I need like a 2-foot radius around me at all times.
She's about right.
Yeah.
All right, we're winding down. Projects. Tell us what you ladies got coming up near future.
Well, she's got. I'll let you
Go ahead.
Oh, I've got one stage play coming up. Rehearsals start this week. It's with Company Outcast, which is a new theater company that's been around about a year, a little over a year. We are going to be putting that on at the end of March. I think it's the last weekend in March and the first weekend in April at the Bardstown. It is The Princess Bride, Cliff Notes of Insanity. It is the movie The Princess Bride in 30 minutes or less. And I play Princess Buttercup and Valerie. And it is pretty hilarious. We do a lot of ridiculous stuff. So it's the whole movie in 30 minutes, and it's a lot of laughs. It's a fun one.
My brain instantly went to Valerie. Like the Amy Winehouse song when you said that. My ADHD brain.
Nope, it's happening.
Connections, make connections. Yeah. I
What about
love
you?
Princess Bride when I
it's so
was growing
fun.
up. It's
Jessica,
great.
anything else?
Well, let's see. The Dating Horror Stories. I'm hosting the Raw Showcase. And I'm doing a lot of like not stage stuff or not public stuff. Like I'm working for ESPN a few times this month
Yeah, I remember you saying
with
that,
their
yeah.
crew, and but then I'm gonna have the surgery, so I don't have anything lined up really because I'll be off for a while. They set up
Okay.
to like 8 weeks.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, so the Dating Horror Stories has been like my focus, and of course the magazine is
Right,
about to
yeah.
come out again March 1st. I'm the editor-in-chief of
But that's,
Food and Dining magazine, so
Monthly, right?
quarterly.
Oh, it is quarterly.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's quarterly, and this one is really good. It's gonna have. I'm writing an article about chefs from Louisville who've been on television, and like the difference of cooking in your kitchen versus on camera, and the pressures of competing.
That's
and
interesting.
yeah, so it's gonna be a really good issue, I think, with a lot of
Come back and we'll talk about that.
yeah.
All right. February 13th at Encore on 4th Street. It is the world premiere. Dating horror stories as reenacted by classic movie monsters. Jessica Christie. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks
Good
for
stuff.
having us.
Yeah.
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 So
I think the only actress I didn't get to mention was Carrie Foster. She's one of the vixens.
now you have Vixens. That's what
I
I'm
know
getting
she's
ready
coming
to
up
do.
next week.
Their Lisa's over there. Yeah.
Is she over there?
They're promoting their big event coming up.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Viz-
So
Yeah.
we'll hopefully maybe from this point on, if I see you all on Bumble, I'll
That's
swipe
what
right.
I was gonna say. Now I have to go download Bumble just so I can like hope he comes up on every third swipe.
I wonder if I could. There's a way if I could swipe right, like both of you, and then I'm done.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
He wants. Yeah. Well, I was trying to think. I was trying to think.
He
about-
doesn't want the honey. He wants the honeys.
I want,
I was.
well, you need more than one bee for a swarm, right?
Yeah. Menage a buzz. Like, I was trying to think of some like pun for
Yeah.
bees and three bees. I guess. I
So
don't know. I couldn't.
bucket list. See if we'll cross that one off
3 bees.
to go with those boobies. So all right, good stuff.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorite jokes ever.
How do you scare a bee?
Booty. And then you pinch them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.